My name is Tiffany Johnson, and welcome to the first episode of the Top Tier Childcare Podcast. I currently live in South Carolina, and I am the proud CEO of 3 childcare centers. And after being in childcare for 16 years and having my own successful business, I wanted to show you what it takes to be top tier. So today, we will talk about knowing your why. Being in childcare can be fun, exciting, fulfilling, and even lucrative. But starting the foundation of your business always needs to start with your why. Knowing your why sets the tone for your business. And hopefully, while watching this episode, you will learn why it's important to know your why. Today, we have a special guest. Her name is Candace Lucas. Candace, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for having me. My name is Candace Lucas, and I am the owner and operator of Royal Legacies Early Learning Center located in Gaston. I've been in childcare for several years, but over the past few years, I started an in-home childcare center. The reason why I started the childcare center was because of my daughter. She got pregnant and was working and going to school. And after doing a lot of research at different centers in the area, and the lack thereof, I just decided that I would step in and do something that is already a part of who I am.
Now you got to tell them how you're transitioning from in-home to your own childcare facility. So that's some good stuff.
Okay, well, let's see. The transition has definitely been a roller coaster from the certifications, inspections, the paperwork. Time management is definitely something that is very important because you have a small amount of time to do a whole lot of different responsibilities.
So that goes into our episode for today. So we trying to figure out what is your why and why it's so important to you by having your childcare centers. We're going into a childcare, going from in-home to your own childcare center. What is your why?
I would have to say my why is my legacy. My why is my family and the families in the community. I've been in social services my whole entire life. So being an advocate, being an educator, and a nurturer is something that is a part of who I am. So I hold that very close to my heart. And that is the reason why I do what I do.
See, that's why I love you so much. Because me and you, we both have similarities when it comes down to our why. Because for me, when I first got in childcare, it was because I was a teen mom. I had Jayla when I was 18. So I put her in a childcare center, and it was the same thing. Like the childcare center, it was not up to my standards for my baby because that was my first child.
Of course.
And so I wanted everything to be perfect. So by me being there, by her being enrolled at the center, the director was like, well, how about you come along and, work for us since you think you so much better. And I'm patting myself on the back.
As you should.
But just knowing that I can come in and show other people or show other families, hey, I care about your child because I needed that for my own child. So, knowing your why is very important because it gets once you start going from in-home to a childcare facility, it's not easy. The transition is
Absolutely
not easy.
not.
So it's a lot that goes in between that. So I think that's why it's important to me to say, you know what, when it gets hard, when it gets rough and tough, I have to know what my why is to bring me back to, hey, I'm knowing that I can't give up. Like this is not an option. Giving up is not an option. But, knowing your why kind of helps you, really set the foundation for your center. So again, when it gets rough, when the parents start getting on your nerves, when they don't want to pay, or the teachers,
Staffing gets crazy.
Right. You don't have enough teachers to cover the classrooms. All of those things at the end of the day kind of push you back so you can know, okay, this is my why, and I can kind of refocus and have enough energy to keep going the next day.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's really, really good. So how did you come up with your why?
Honestly, I didn't come up with my why. My why came up with me.
Right.
I had my first granddaughter, and then shortly after, I had another granddaughter. So that kind of gave me that extra motivation. And knowing that I too was a teen mom, and I understand the importance of being reassured that your child is being taken care of properly while you're working, while you're going to school. That's really, really major. And in today's time, you have parents that are working, going to school, children are with grandparents, and situations change. Everyone's family dynamic is different. So being relatable, being understanding, being able to say that, hey, I've been there and I'm going to help you as much as I can, because everyone needs a little bit of assistance.
Absolutely, because I know for Success by Steps, how I end up coming up with it, or how I put more, I guess, thought into it, was because when I was young and had her, she was in childcare, and not only me working for other companies, well-known companies as well, I kind of took what they wasn't given, and with my own experiences, and kind of merge them together and say, okay, this is what I want us to be about. I want us to be about families, because for my centers, is we take care of the whole family. We want to make sure that the family is good to go from the mother or the father all the way down to the child. Because I have seen where if it's a parent come into the center and they lights are getting turned off, or they don't have gas in their car, or they don't know how Christmas is around the corner, they don't know how they're gonna get gifts, or just simple things. It's back to school time. So I don't know how I'm gonna get my kids back to school. So all of those, the weight of being a parent, and
It's
not
heavy
having,
enough.
it's heavy. It's really, really heavy. So I think for me, it was more so, how can I merge taking care of the family, or taking care of the head, so when it trickles down to the child, we don't have to worry about behavior issues. Because a lot of that plays a part in, hey, do the child know where they're going when they leave school? Do they have anything to eat when they leave school? So a lot of that stuff is important. So it's like, you know what, Tiffany, if you take care of the top, then everything else in the household that comes down to the child that's in our care, it will flow a lot easier. It'll flow a lot better. Because I know for me, it's been times where I have had families that could not afford, and I knew they could not afford to get their children anything for Christmas. So the parent will be upset. You can tell that they have been crying before they come.
Yes.
Yeah, but especially when they come through the door and I see your eyes red. So let's figure out something that we can do to lessen the burden on you, so we can help take care of what you need, even with tuition. And like I tell parents all the time, like, it's not, for me, it's not about the money. I'm doing kingdom business.
That's it.
So by me doing that, it's not, yes, I need the business to sustain itself, but I don't have to be greedy. And if I can find something in between time, to help you, even if I give you a discount, or even if I say, hey, don't worry about tuition, for the next 2 weeks, or whatever the case may be, I try to find some wiggle room to help a family. And that's why it's important for me, because again, when I was younger and, a teenager raising a child, there wasn't any resources in a child care facility that somebody can come up to me and say, hey, I can help you fill out this Medicaid form, or I can help you fill out this SNAP
Public
benefits
housing,
form.
all of the
Right.
things. Yeah.
So it's not a lot. So for me, like, that really pushed my why and how I came up with my why. So another question, how do you think your why will help you in your business? So you're about to open up your own center. So if you take that why and you tell your families about it, or you, especially your teachers, because it's very important for your team to know your why. So how do you think that will help you grow your business?
I feel like it will set the tone for it, because going in, I want to make sure that the structure, the foundation, and everything is solid. You mentioned the kingdom business. Kingdom business is kingdom business, and we take that very seriously at Royal Legacies. So I honestly would have to say that, it's a profession, but it's also personal, because this is our life. We have sacrificed so many different things. Finances, our time, our sleep, and sometimes our sanity.
No, that's the truth.
But I mean, but we have to be real about it. We have to be real about it. We have to express the ups and the downs. How many times have I, and this is a transparent moment, how many times have I had conversations with you with tears in my eyes, because it just gets so very frustrating. But that's the motivation because you have, for me, for instance, because I close in May, school starts in August 6th to be exact in our district. So we have a little bit of time. Parents need after school care. And it hurts me that I'm still here at this point of the process, but it's at no fault of my own. It's just a part of the process. We can't rush it because if we do rush the process, that could lead to a whole lot of things interfering with our foundation, and we could be open for 6 months and close. So staying focused, staying prayed up, and trying to keep a clear mind on everything that's supposed to be done. Because if not, your why, it doesn't even really matter if you don't really understand how to embrace it.
And that's why it's important to come up with a good why. And you have to, for me, I had to do a lot of soul searching.
Of course.
And really sitting down and getting in quiet places and really putting together like, okay, God, why did you call me to this? Because I got to figure out why you called me to it first before I come up with anything else. So, and then I took my experiences and really, like I said, combined the why together. But I just want to know, like, how has your why helped you through the journey as well? So I know it will help you in your business because your why will show up. And I think so. For me, my why is a part of my mission statement in all the centers. So I have the mission statement hung up beautifully at all the centers because I want the parents to know the why. And know the mission, for the business. And not only that, I have it on the enrollment packets. So even if they don't see it when they come into the center, they will be able to see it on the enrollment packet. And again, it allows me to see it because
it's a reminder.
Right. So that is, for me, that is how my why has helped me through 8 years. 8 years and 3 centers, about to be 4 centers. It has helped me because it has not been, Lord knows it has not been an easy task. I was just telling somebody last week, like, it's been times recently that I was like, you know what, God, you can take it all.
I'm over it.
Put me back somewhere else because it's a lot. But someone else always reminds me of my own why. And it kind of puts me back and grounds me where I'm supposed to be. So I think people don't understand that you cannot really survive long term in childcare if you do not know your why. And money cannot be your why because you will never make enough.
Tell me about it.
You will never make enough for the time, that sometimes the headache, and it's pros and cons, but money can never be your number one reason why you get into this thing. Because you will see a center that same person that's trying to open up a center because they think it's lucrative, which it can be, don't get me wrong. But if that's your number one reason, it's not going to be lucrative at first. It took me maybe 2 or 3 years to even start to see a profit or even to pay myself. I was really making it off the grace of God for those years. It looked good. But, going down to numbers and trying to take care of everything, it was not what people thought it would be or people thought I had that I really did not have. So like I said, knowing your why, that's the foundation for all childcare centers. What I think it should be, or it should be the foundation of knowing why you're going into this. But money will not keep the doors open
because all blessings aren't tangible.
No,
and like when you're doing things for the kingdom, it's that discernment to know what choices to make, what moves to the partnerships, the collaborations. You really, really, really have to stay on your face with
and the lives that you change, because we do something because I'm such a giver and I know how important it is, because I go back to my why and I say, I really need to get to the point where I can speak to the parents and not only the kids. So once a month we give out birthday gifts for whoever month it is for their birthday. And we have had parents get gifts and cry because it's been a year since someone thought about them. And sometimes when you do just a little bit, according to my why, just doing a little bit for a mother or a father, it will take them another 6 months, for them to keep, they just got to keep going. So one last question: why do you think it is important for your team to know your why?
I think it's important because it really, really it shapes
Mhm.
the and I keep going back to the foundation because the foundation is everything. Um, it's important because oh man, I don't even know how many different ways I could take this. It's important because it's a reflection of who I am.
Mhm.
It's important because I am the community.
Mhm.
I'm a part of the community. I understand um, when you walk into a room how it feels, the interaction that you receive.
Mhm.
Staying on top of different trainings with my parents, with not my parents, trainings with the staff,
Mhm.
and reiterating how important it is to be who you are, take everything that has been taught, and be able to reshape it and push it back out
Mhm.
to the babies
Mhm.
because it's all for them.
Mhm.
It's literally all for them. All of the sacrifices, all of the changes, all of the elevation,
Mhm.
they need to be able to feel it as well as see
Mhm.
it.
And I know sometimes if the team doesn't know, which I have recognized in the years I've been in childcare, is that if the part of the team does not know your why, they put their own why in.
Mhm.
They put their own motives, they put their own outlook on what they feel like it should look like. And that's when you get off task. And that's when you get conflict in
Mhm.
the center because one teacher feel like it should be ran this way. Another teacher is actually going by your mission and your why because she knows or he or she knows exactly what it is. So then you have some type of division. So you have some parents thinking that it should be ran like this because of what someone else put in their head that's in your center because they're not paying attention or they're not remembering your why and what your mission is. So you're right. So having your mission and your why, which is about the same thing,
Mhm.
it's important for the team to know because they know why they're coming to work every day. They know
Absolutely.
they're not coming to work just for a paycheck. They know that if a parent is running late and your cutoff time is 9 o'clock, yes, it's 9 o'clock, but sometimes parents need grace because they're
We all
tired.
do. We
Right.
all do. People oversleep, car
Right.
troubles, like
Traffic,
it,
the
it, it
train.
happens.
So car accidents on the freeway.
But though you also have to have balance
Mhm.
because some people can take your kindness for a
Absolutely.
weakness. And
But that's where the discernment comes
uh-huh.
in. And that's when you put people on the team that knows your why. And if they know who you are and you can kind of put your why into them so they can really understand who you are, it's easier for them to say, okay, I know this is the rule, but okay, let's be we can bend it a little bit. And not saying
Right.
all rules need to be bended because that's so not the case. But just giving parents grace because at some point in time you was late taking your kids to school too. So and if you had to be to work at 10 o'clock or whatever the case may be and you was running 5 minutes behind, grace is needed. Instead of us always having to say this is the rule, this is the rule, parents need us. Like this is what we're here for
We need
to
each
say
other.
absolutely. So we have to be able to, like I said, have the team to know your why. Because I'm gonna tell you about one of my experiences. I had a director. Don't get me wrong, she would have the rules down packed. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm sure she can record them in her sleep. But if a parent came in and the parent never was late on tuition before, she was like, yep, $25 late fee, which is fine. That is the rule. But if you kind of get to know your parents and you know they're having a hard time, because a lot of times they'll come in, they'll look at you and you can ask questions. Not saying get in all in their business because you shouldn't never do that. But you still have to get to know your parents
Right.
to know, okay, you know what? We're gonna hold up this late fee because she already was trying to scramble up.
Because, like you mentioned earlier, some parents may not have
Mm-hmm.
money for school supplies or
Mm-hmm.
school clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So if they accidentally ran late
Mm-hmm.
at no fault of their own,
Mm-hmm. Give them
who has the
grace.
extra money to, I'm already
Struggling.
yes.
Already struggling.
And that
Mhm.
that one thing could open up a door
Right.
for a better
Mhm.
relationship with your
Mhm.
parents. So
Mhm.
yes, that's
Mhm.
important, but communication.
Right. Right. So making sure your team know your why is important because we're able to like you said, it can transition over to your parents. So if the teachers are on board and they know, hey, we're here for the family, not just for the child. So if mom needs, I don't know, a snack on the way out the door, or if mom needs grace with, being late for 5 minutes, it's okay. Now we not gonna allow it to get excessive.
Right.
But giving grace, but if the team did not know your why and your heart behind your why, then it will be always cut and dry. So that's important. So I appreciate you for coming to see me today. So where can we find you?
Well, thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it. I really don't have a whole lot of social media, but I can be found on Facebook, Royal Legacies Early Learning Center, LLC.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming and being a part of the Top Tier Childcare Podcast.
No problem. It's an honor.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Top Tier Childcare Podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you have any questions, you can email us at info@btoptier.org. Remember, when your why is big enough, you will find your how. See you next time.